we get into the direct variation video, I want you to pause this and see if you can solve and find these two equations that you're asked to find. Just as a review, make sure we're all on the same page. So pause the video, answer these two, and then compare. Okay, welcome back. Find the equation of the line through given points. First you should find the slope. The slope is 3. Then find the y-intercept, or use point slope form if you want. But having our final equations in y equals mx plus b, that slope intercept form, guarantees that we all have the same answer for ease of correcting. So there's your slope, your y-intercept, and the equation of the line. Did you get that? Cool. Find the equation of the line parallel, so same slope as this given line, but through the point 4, -1. So again, we're going to find our slope first. Rearrange, get slope of -1. Same slope, so we're going to use -1, and find our y-intercept again, and our equation y equals -x plus 3. You got that one too, right? Great job. Now let's talk about our direct variation. So direct variation is just a special equation of a line where we have a slope called a, but we call it the constant of variation instead, but it really is just slope. And then we have x, and notice no y-intercept out there. So y equals ax is our constant of variation. Super fun stuff going on there. So here's what it looks like. We always read these equations. Y varies directly with x, as you can see off to the right. A, again, our constant of variation. So our example here, given that x and y vary directly, find y when x is equal to 5, given that x is 4 when y is 12. So we have a lot of things going on here. First thing we need to do is figure out what that a value is, that constant of variation. So you plug in the x and the y that you know when you solve for a. So we find a equals 3. Then we're going to write our variation equation. So y equals 3x. And then the very last thing we do is find the y given that new x value. So x equals 5, we're looking for y. 3 times 5 is 15. Every single one of these problems requires that you do those three things. You find a, you write the equation, you use your new equation. Okay? None of them are hard, you just have to remember to do all of the parts. All right? Okay, here's a word problem, because word problems are my favorite. The law of supply states that the quantity supplied of an item varies directly. There's your clue that we're using y equals ax with the price of that item. Suppose that if sold at $4 per tape, 5 million cassette tapes will be supplied. Write the equation that relates the number C to the number supplied in price, and determine how many tapes will be supplied for $5 per tape. Okay, so we know we're going to use a direct variation equation because it told us that varies directly is your key there. So we're going to find that constant. Supply is the constant times the price. We get a equals 5/4. So our constant of variation is 5/4. Our equation then, cost equals 5/4 P, okay, or sorry, number, not cost, number in millions of cassette tapes and P. And then we figure it out. Our last sentence there tells us what to plug in where, and we figure out 6.25 million tapes would be supplied if we were selling them for $5 per tape. Super fun, right? This stuff is actually very, very useful in business, just in case you didn't know. All right, and here, let me get that out of the way. One last thing, sometimes we just want you to determine whether a set of numbers shows direct variation, okay? And the way we do that is we look at the constant, see if we can find a to be a constant value. And if we solve our model, y equals ax for a, we get y divided by x. So if we can take every single ordered pair y divided by x and we get the same value, then it's direct variation. So this green one, let's check that out. It says all of the y divided by x's are -4. So that tells us that we do indeed have direct variation. So a is -4, and our equation is y equals -4x. So neat. our second one here in purple, our table, we're going to take each y divided by x, every single row all the way down. And we get a negative 0.48 and a negative 1.333, and we see all of these a values over there are just not the same. If they are not the same, it is not direct variation, so we can't write the equation, and we just say not direct variation. That's about all I have for you on direct variation. If you have any questions, please be